Hey, what's up, fam? Thank y'all for tuning in once again. And as always, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And when you do subscribe, hit the notification bell so every time I drop a video, you'll be the first to know about it. Now, this story is about a week old. Been sitting on it for a little while because it's one of those stories that in our community can be deemed controversial, depending on how you come at it. So, I was wondering if I wanted to say anything about it. Because, you're going to ruffle feathers. You're going to get people upset. And matter of fact, a lot of times it'll be people that are close to you, whether it be friends or family members, because you'll know somebody who's in a situation similar to this. And so you don't want to say anything to hurt their feelings or to get them upset or to make them feel like they're being judged or whatever the case may be. But I think the problem, one of the problems that we have in our community is we don't call out, or we don't address, let's say that. We don't address certain behaviors and situations that can be avoided or that could have been avoided. And to where we can relay, once you know better, you do better. So when you learn to do the correct thing, or the choices that you made and you saw where it has led you, you try either to no longer make those choices or you attempt to teach your children. The problem is with kids, especially when they're young, is that they see what you do. They don't hear what you do. You understand what I'm saying? It's like scientific studies that show it takes a person doesn't really get life and start to understand and start to fully grasp how life is supposed to be until the age of about 25, right? So we're talking about young kids, preteens, teenagers, trying to feel themselves, trying to, hormones are changing, steadily growing, peer pressure, urges, stuff starts to, enter into that system, into that mind, into that body, the thoughts. Parenting is hard. And nowadays it's really hard because of the internet, social media, stuff like that are influencing these kids a lot more than parents will. It used to be, you had your kids in the house, they make them watch a little TV, some little Gomer Pyle, Beverly Hillbillies, Sesame Street, Mr. Rogers, things like that, and that was pretty much it. They go outside, they be curious, they might do some bad things, but then you chastise them and they go about the business. Now they are watching, they have the ability to watch and to hear things on the screens without adult supervision, and to talk to people that they're probably not supposed to talk to, and learn things that they're probably not supposed to learn, and have more influence. I'm sure it takes up probably at least 50 to 75% of the waking days they can be in front of a screen. And the majority of that stuff is not positive, or they're listening to music that back when I was, this boy's age and the story I'm about to bring to you, the music that they can hear now that's on 24/7, whether it's on a radio or on YouTube or Spotify or whatever the case may be, we couldn't hear this kind of music, and it wasn't even this bad, but we couldn't hear adult explicit content music until like after 10 o'clock on a Friday for only 2 hours, from 10 to 2, down here on the radio, or your BET after dark, after midnight. You know what I'm saying? But when the kids are supposed to be asleep. But now, like I say, it's on 24/7. And I say that to say this. I mean, so I want to go ahead and get into this story because I could talk for another 30 minutes about all this build up. But this is about a young brother by the name of Karon Blake. He was, let's just say, shot, deleted by an older brother for for breaking into cars. Period. Point blank. Committing crimes, and he got punished for it. And the points that I'm going to address are really dealing with the young boy, the mom, and the shooter. So let's get into this, because I really want to dive into this, and let's do. I just hope everybody takes this as a teaching lesson and not a judgment lesson. Don't want people to get in their feelings, take things personal, because hey, everyone has made choices that we look back and say, what the heck was I thinking? Or if I could do it all over again. Now you got some people who will sit there and tell you, even in a situation like this, that as time goes on, they'll say if they could do it all over again, would they change anything? And you got some people who will say no, they would not have changed anything. I have things in my life that I've done that if I could go back and redo it, I would have done it differently. It doesn't mean that I don't appreciate or understand what I went through, because yes, what I went through made me the person that I am, and continues to make me or have me evolve into the person that I will be. Everything I've been through, everything I'm gonna go through. I don't have all the answers. I'm going to get some things wrong. I mean, that is what it is. But I had to be a silly son of a gun to sit here and say that there are some things that I would not change, because I would. And I think everybody would. Everybody would look at stuff and say, let's say like me. I can say like this, kids. Well, that's that. It would depend really what my financial situation is, and how I look at things. But like when I was younger, I said I wanted to have, all my kids before 30, which will make sense, because that way by the time I'm 50 and they're all at the house, hopefully, then I can, live my last half of the life, traveling, enjoying life, still probably working, but enjoying life a little more instead of just raising children. But as I got older, I said, dang, I think I would have waited till I was 30 to have kids, because they'll still be at the house by the time I'm 50 if I do it the way I want to. I have them back to back, a couple of them back to back. Be done with it, and hopefully by the time I'm 50, mid 50s, whatever, they're gone, and I'm still, they'll be old enough to where if I want to go and do, like say travel the world, start a business, do anything, whatever the case may be, they're old enough to take care of themselves, or somebody, to be able to take care of themselves. Anyway, like I said, we get to the story. It's from Fox5DC.com, and it says Karon Blake shooting. Mom breaks her silence. So the mother of 13-year-old Karon Blake broke her silence Wednesday afternoon. Like I said, this is a story about a week old. It's the first time in 3 weeks since city officials said a DC employee shot and deleted her son because he was suspected of breaking into cars. So let's just put it out there. This young brother was breaking into cars, period. Now I know it says suspected, but let's keep going. Family stood beside London Blake as she took a long pause inside a conference room at the Karon firm downtown DC office. The news conference was held one day after DC police arrested and charged longtime Parks and Recreational Department employee 41-year-old Jason Lewis with second-degree deletion while armed. Now, I saw an interview, and I'm gonna post the links in the description box. This dude was like a community activist. Actually, I think he did a show with a brother, and I was talking about helping the kids, helping the youth, and and being a positive role model to these kids, the very kids who was out there breaking into cars that night. Quote, what I can say is that Karon came from a good home, and I tried my best with him, But Jason Lewis, he had no right. He had no right, said the 13-year-old's mother. It could have went a different way. Yes, it could have. It could have been the young brother was not out there vandalizing or breaking into cars. Let's just start right there. You can say, yeah, he's young, he's a kid, he don't know no better. The problem is, and this is why we got to train our kids from the time they are born. One of the issues that we have a lot of times is that we wait until our kids are in their teens, you know, junior high school. Then we want to start talking about right and wrong. Then we want to start talking about the birds and the bees, or, you know, still saying sexual, you know, issues, you know, conduct. You want to start talking about, like, say, crime and drugs and things like this. But it's too late. Studies have also shown that by the time a person is 13 years old, their personality has been developed. Now, isn't that crazy? 13 years, the personality has developed. Another about 12 or 13 years is when you start to figure out how life is supposed to go. So if that is true, you can't wait till a child is in junior high school to start trying to chastise them and try to teach them right from wrong. It's all because, not saying that it won't work, it's just that you're going to make your job a whole hell of a lot harder trying to rear this child. And again, children don't listen. They hear you. And trust me, it will be embedded in their brain. So when they get older and get to the age where they can understand the stuff that you was telling them, and like the stuff that you was telling them was right or was wrong, because you got some parents who tell kids the wrong thing. I mean, you do. But like I say, by the time they get there, they'll be able to recall it when they get to their age. But kids don't listen; they watch. Mom can sit here and say, "Don't be having, you know, relations in my house. Don't be having a bunch of girlfriends, bring no babies in the house." But then you got a boyfriend coming in the house, a new boyfriend coming in the house every month, spending the night. Kids gonna go by what they see. They're not gonna say, "Well, mama said this, but she's doing that." Or if the dad said, you know, kids are gonna go by what they see, not what they hear. She goes on, let's say, everybody is like, "What is he doing out of 4 a.m.? It's like, would y'all feel better if it was at 4 p.m.? A crime is a crime. He took my baby. Again, you're right. A crime is a crime, and your baby was committing a crime. Again, he should have been in the house. My firstborn, and it's messed up, but I've got to live with that," Ms. Blake said. The DC mother hopes she gets justice for her child. Her attorney remarked on the many people who spoke to the 13-year-old's character as a loving soul. I'm sure he was. I knew some cats who sold dope, ran gangs, you know, robbed, steal, liked to fight. They were nice people. But sometimes they switch a turn. Police say Karon Blake and two others were out breaking into cars just before 4 a.m. on the 1000 block of Quincy Street, Northeast. New court documents released explain that a witness saw two people near 41-year-old Jason Lewis's vehicle. Lewis told police he shot at the person who ran toward him. He has since been indicted after turning himself in on Tuesday, January 31st. Lewis's attorney entered a not plead guilty, claiming his client was innocent and acting in self-defense during the arraignment. The judge ordered Lewis held without bond. People, you do not know what you are going to do in a certain situation. When it's night for 4 o'clock in the morning, you ain't in your right faculties. You hear somebody outside trying to break into your car. You run out. You can say right now, hindsight 2020, what you should have done, what the law say you should have done. But in the middle of something, you don't know if this you don't know if he's a kid, you don't know if he's a grown adult, you don't know if this is a man or a woman, you don't know you don't know if it's an alien that came out of space. All you know is somebody is violating your property and you got to take action. Simple as that. And again, you want to say they kids, man, I done seen, trust me, there are some 13, 14, 15-year-olds out there who got like hitman records out there in this country. Shoot, I done seen, you can see old documentaries of kids in other countries that's like this boy's age carrying like AR-15 automatic weapons, not semi-automatic, but like automatic weapons, trained, I was saying, in the military for these militias or these terrorist groups or what have you. So don't just say it's a kid, because a kid can be taught anything. They can be taught right and they can be taught wrong. Let's say DC Police Chief Robert Conti III revealed on Tuesday that investigators now believe the 41-year-old shot at a getaway vehicle parked in a nearby alleyway first, before shooting at the 13-year-old who reportedly ran towards Lewis. However, the chief confirmed Blake was not on and did not enter Lewis's property. See, but again, in the heat of the moment, what do you think you're going to do? The chief also said the information regarding Lewis's first shooting at the getaway vehicle was not initially shared with police. That information appeared to have been gathered from the surveillance video. So basically, he saw the people down in the alley. So basically, one kid ran down to his car, probably tried to break into it. He heard, went outside. The boy took off, saw the car. Boy took off running. Maybe saw the car. He saw the 41-year-old saw Lewis saw the car into the alley. Shot at it because it was his getaway car, and then the boy turned around, maybe started running back toward him, and the rest is is what it is. Said court documents revealed some of Blake's last words heard were "I'm a kid," right? And that's one thing children know how to do is manipulate the system. I don't know if some of y'all remember, but back like in the 80s and 90s, I don't know how it was in the 2000s, but I knew back in the day, the older guys, especially like the hustlers, the cats who ran the drugs, or the ones who would breaking cars, steal radios and stuff. They would have kids do a lot of the dirty work, because back in the day, once a kid did the dirty work, he really didn't get no kind of time. Might get probation, in and out, get arrested 40-something times, and nothing get done with him because he's a kid. So that's how it used to be. So, and they could say, I'm a kid, so ain't nothing gonna happen to me. So he thought that being a kid was gonna, was gonna save his life, but it didn't. There are a lot of things going on in the community right now, and what we cannot abide are individuals decide to take the law into their own hands. And Daniel added, I don't like that statement, because you do have to punish people. Kids, I hate it for kids. I don't want them to be punished. But you know what I'm saying? They gotta know the risk, and again, that's why you gotta stay on. You gotta tell them right from wrong from the beginning, and if they do something bad, you gotta punish them. I ain't gonna say beat him to the inch of his life, but you gotta know that it's not right. The first time he did it. And well, let's get to this quote, because these next two paragraphs, because this is like the meat and potatoes of the story. Quote, like I said before, kids get into things that the parents are not always aware about. She responded. Oh, well, go back. Fox 5 asked London Blake about her son's previous reported interaction with the court system and what message she has for you. Like I said before, kids get into things that the parents are not always aware about. She responded, we're in 2023 now. Things happen. We just got to keep our babies close to us. That's it. Children make their own decisions. As adults, we do too, That's right. Kids will make decisions. And when they make bad decisions, you punish them. Make them never, ever, ever, ever want to commit another crime or do something against what you say. Like, you can talk until you're blue in the face to your child, but if their mind is set on what they want to do, then that's what they want to do. All we have to do as parents is to really be parents and try our best. That's it. Quote, we can't. We're not going to be there. We have jobs. We have other children. We're not going to be there at every single time or at every single, everything. At every single moment, And my son, he was a young man. I count on him. You hear me? He helped me in my household. I don't live with a man. I live with me and my 4 children. He was the man of the house. That's who helped me. And Jason Lewis, he took him from me, Blake continued before walking out of the law firm's conference room. Too emotional to continue. Let's go back. And my son, he was a young man. I count on him. You hear me? He helped me in the house. How did he help in the house? How did a 12 and 13-year-old, what could he do in the house? Well, let's see, 13-year-old. This is the thing. If he's helping in the house, the only thing a 13-year-old should be doing in the house, if he got 3 younger siblings. So he's the oldest. Only thing he can do is make sure, help you make sure the kids have eaten while you're at work. Make sure that they done bathe, they done their homework, and got their little butts in the bed. That is it. If he's doing anything besides that, that is beyond the scope of his profession of being a child. Period, point blank. Took him from his back table before walking out of the law firm and said, here's what I think too. I believe because he's already been in the system, already as the story says, I believe she knew what her son was doing. And I believe she may have turned a blind eye to some of them. If a young boy is breaking into cars, stealing radios, stealing cars, stealing stuff out of cars, they're doing it for money. Okay? They're doing it for money, trying to, help pay bills, buy some clothes, some shoes, whatever the case may be. That's what he's doing it for. But it goes back to choices that we as adults make. Now she says she has 4 kids. It's just her and no man. The question is, where's the man at? A lot of women may get mad at me asking that, but once you get over being upset, where's the man at? What men did you choose? How many men has it been in that house since that first boy was born? Because once that first child was born, and if you was going through some things and your life was hard, then let's just say maybe the second one should have been, second one was born. But after 1 or 2 times, you got to change some of your actions. And I'm just going to sit there and put it out there. The majority of the people out there will continue to do the same thing, thinking that it's going to change, and it's not. You with this one man, think he's going to be with you, think he's cool, think everything's going to be good. He end up being a deadbeat, a nobody. Who knows? Maybe he's in jail. Maybe he got deleted himself. Maybe he on drugs. Maybe he was a one-night stand. Whatever the case may be, you made that choice. Baby girl, you had it. Second time around, I guarantee you one of them situations that I just said happened again. Third time and fourth time, I guarantee you the scenarios I said happened throughout all 4 of them babies. Unless, and this is a slim unless all 4 of them children had the same dad. Which I doubt. Because we're just keeping it real, right? We're just living in reality. If I'm wrong, I definitely want somebody to tell me that I'm wrong about her story. But with that being said, if I'm wrong about her, I also have that same energy of anger when you write or you reply telling me if you or someone in your family or your friends went through exactly what I said. Or tell me how many people you know went through exactly what I said they went through. I guarantee you the majority of y'all are gonna have been through some of those scenarios. You know why? Because you be young, you make bad decisions, and a lot of times some people make bad decisions from a young age to an older age. And this what kills me, because there's a lot of times people they want you to believe, they say that girls mature faster than boys. But when I see some of the decisions that some of my young ladies make, that's really not something to brag about or be proud of. Because in the end, in the biblical text, and in many other texts, the man is supposed to lead, run the house. So just because you are mature at 13, does not mean that you're mature at 33, as mature as that man at 33. Because if that's the case, it'll be a whole lot of problems that you will not have to go through, because you will give it to that man to take care of and let him do his job. But if you have no man in the house and you have 4 kids, that is that is like a position that you do not want to be in. You don't want to be in that position at 1, let alone 4. But again, when you got that many kids, then you have to work. And I look at this, and I don't know. You might say, what they got to do with the price of tea in China? I look, and she got this this hat. I don't know if it's real or not, but it's like a Chanel hat. If it was real, Chanel is not cheap. And these are the things I'm talking. And it's like, where with 4 kids, do you make that kind of money to where you can buy a Chanel hat? I don't want nobody to say, man, I work hard, I should deserve that. I'm sorry. I was a dude. I was once married, had 2 daughters, got a divorce, had to start from scratch. Living, 1-bedroom apartment, roach infested apartment, had to fumigate that sun gun, I think 7 days straight before I even brought furniture in there. Couldn't keep a job, not because I couldn't work, because I did work. Couldn't keep a steady job because I was going to school, so I had to switch jobs. But I stayed employed, just couldn't find full-time work. But anyway, living off of credit cards, living off of savings, donating plasma, doing all this kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Kids have a mother, yes, and we, share custody, whatever the case may be. Make sure the kids are taken care of. But I never said, oh man, I'm working so hard, let me go buy me a Gucci belt. Or I'm working so hard, let me go buy some of these, go buy some Jordans. Now don't get me wrong, I got, some Jordans, but not when I was broke, not when I'm sitting here, not when I got kids, my kids need stuff. You know what I'm saying? I was cool with Dickie shirts, t-shirts, and khakis. You know what I'm saying? And I'm cool. Walk around in sweatpants and walk around them all day, every day because I'm trying to get somewhere. Ain't gonna have something on, but I ain't gonna sit here. You know what? I ain't gonna knock her because she could be wearing a bonnet and a spaghetti strap shirt with some dog on me, with some bumper slides on. And pajama pants, so I'm not gonna knock. So I'm gonna leave that one. I'm gonna leave that one alone. I'll leave that one. Let's see. Let's finish this up. Dan Spoke said he'd been focused on Karon what he did. When I got the call, it was like, oh no, not him. A lot of people not him. Nick Hobson, GoGo Radio.TV's on. Hobson told Fox 5. Here we go. The entire GoGo community is in shock. He said Jason Lewis was a co-host on one of the station's most popular shows, and that in many years he's known Lewis. Hobson describes a 41-year-old as someone who was not known to act violently. We always talked about how we could, work with the youth and try to get them out of the mess that's going on around them, Hobbs said. That was a shocking part, what happened with that 13-year-old, but that also raises many more questions for me because I know that he wasn't of that ill to be going out and trying to make moves, violent moves like that. That wasn't his nature. Hobson said he feels Lewis is being mischaracterized. He also expressed his sympathies to the Blake family on behalf of the GoGo community. He said he has his own lawn service company. Hobson said he would go out and make sure I guess I read it right, people were taken care of. People, stuck in the snow. He would help them out with that. He was just a giving person. But Dan did not directly answer whether his office plans to file a civil suit, saying that now the family is focused on the criminal investigation. Ms. Blake said she was surprised it took this long for an arrest. The mayor's office confirmed as of Tuesday, Lewis's status has now changed from administrative leave to enforced leave, where he must now use his personal time off as officials work out the next steps. It's not clear how much personal time the city employee has. Jason Lewis is due back in court February 13th of next week. So, again, ladies, the 13-year-old cannot be the man of the house. He just cannot be. And I hate when I hear that. Go back to like the old shows. You used to hear it like the old westerns. And the guy, he called off the war, going and rustle some cattle. And he would say, while I'm gone, be the man of the house, watch over your mother, your ma, and your sisters. Okay, and you're like, okay, Carl, and he go off and do whatever, and all he really doing, he doing the stuff he always did. It ain't like he can go get a job and pay no bills. He did what he could do. He's not the man of the house. And then there was like one little temporary thing, like you just do it while I'm gone, just watch over your sister, protect your sister. But that's what boys are supposed to do anyway. Like if you got your brother and you got sisters, and growing up and they in school and they having problems, you protect your sister. So that's technically you'll be the man, the protector. It's basically what that statement means, that you're here to protect the women folk while a man is gone. But when you get back, you get back to your role. It's not meant to be a full-time job. It's not meant for him to be the man of the house while you just keep having babies and going to work. A 13-year-old is not supposed to raise his siblings. Help out, yes. Around the house, yes. Do chores, yes. But raising, because you got to go and the economy. I mean, it's the point now that with the economy, even with maybe government assistance or whatever, you still gotta have a full-time job, right? So I mean, it is what it is. But let me end this story. Let me end this. Tell me what you think. Leave your comments below and then share it with the world. Like I said, I don't want to sound like a victim blamer, because a lot of times people get sensitive about stuff and don't want stuff to be called out. But we have to do better by our kids. We have to do better by ourselves. Let's start there. We got to make better decisions so that we can navigate through life a little easier than what we allow ourselves to. It's like we make bad choices, and we make certain choices, and then we keep doing them again. It's like sooner or later you got to say, hey, I'm done with this. I want to do something different. I love my children, or I love my child, I love my children, whatever the case may be. Not going to have no more until I'm in a better place. Settle down. Get a man that we can marry. The man we can get married, and we raise our family. Until then, the rest of stuff got to stop. But anyway, that's all I got. Until next time, I leave you in peace. And I'll see you on the other side.